Hiya folks, I got some great stories prepped for you today. First up, Meta's AI support bot just handed attackers the keys to Instagram accounts, including the Obama White House page and the Chief Master Sergeant of the US Space Force. Both got briefly defaced with pro-Iranian images over the weekend. And here's the interesting method on how they did it. It was all about just sweet-talking a chatbot into resetting someone else's password. Here's what happened. So Meta rolled out an AI customer support agent inside Instagram to handle account recovery questions. Starting May 31st, a step-by-step guide started circulating on Telegram showing exactly how to manipulate that bot into triggering a password reset on a target account. This way, they didn't have to abuse phishing or SIM swapping. It was just a quick little chat with Meta's own AI. Now, this is kind of a big deal because account recovery, well, it's always been kind of like the soft underbelly for security. I mean, for years, the attack was simple. It was just social engineering a human support agent. But now, there's no human. They've been replaced by a language model that's even easier to talk into stupid decisions. Now, I'm not going to tell you where, but if you look hard enough, you can find screenshots and video walkthroughs on Telegram. Due to this, 2 high-profile U.S. government-linked accounts hijacked in the same window, and a wave of regular users reporting they got locked out with no way back in. Now, Meta has acknowledged that this abuse is happening and says it's tightening the assistance behavior, but it hasn't explained why a support bot had unrestricted password reset powers in the first place. Now, what we expect here is going to be pretty predictable, okay? Every platform that has an AI agent bolted on to customer support is now a target for the exact same playbook. Expect prompt injection and social engineering against support bots to become a standard operating procedure for account takeover going forward. Simply put, the takeaway here is if you run anything important on Instagram, you really ought to have turned on 2-factor authentication with either a hardware key or an authenticator app. Don't use SMS. And assume any AI in a support flow can be talked into doing things it really shouldn't do. Moving on to our next story. Gamers, listen up here. I got some karma for you. Looks like some cheaters, well, they got cheated. Atlas Menu is a paid cheat service for Grand Theft Auto 5 and Counter-Strike 2, and it just had its entire user database dumped online. Yeah, roughly 64,000 accounts are just sitting out in the open, and the attacker claims that they also had the ability to silently grab screenshots from customer machines while they were currently running the cheat. Yeah, scary stuff, folks. Here's what we know so far. Initially, the breach happened in May. The attacker says they got into Atlas Menu's back end, pulled the user database, and posted it online. Have I Been Pwned has already loaded the data set, which is how most users are finding out that their data's been leaked. The exposed data includes usernames, email addresses, IP addresses, and purchase records and the Discord IDs tied to the accounts. Crazy, right? And what I find really uncomfortable here is that screenshot claim. Because if this is true, if the operators of this cheat had this unpublished mechanism to remotely capture images of whatever is on their customer screen, that should be very concerning. And I mentioned this earlier, 64,000 cheat buyers across GTA 5, Counter-Strike 2, and I think a few other games actually were affected. Anybody who paid for Atlas Menu in the last few years should assume that their email address, IP, and gaming identity are public and tied permanently to the words dirty, filthy cheater. Yeah, and this is the part that's also pretty interesting. The team behind Atlas Menu, well, the response has been non-existent. Yeah, there's no formal disclosure, no notification to users, and no statement on the screenshot allegations. I guess you can do that when you run an illegal cheating service, I guess, yeah. So, if you've used Atlas Menu or you know somebody who did, you really should check Have I Been Pwned with the email that you signed up with and reset the password on that email and really anywhere that it's been reused. Assume your Discord account that's been linked to this purchase, you need to burn it or at least rotate it, yeah. And if you ran the software on your main machine, you really need to treat that machine as compromised, boot it, nuke it, wipe it, reinstall it, and change all the credentials from a clean device. All right, last story of the day, folks. Dashlane just suspended an unspecified number of customer accounts after attackers started hammering the service with brute force attacks. So if you woke up locked out of your password manager this week, well, this is why. Here's what happened, folks. Reports from affected customers started piling up across support channels and forums, all describing the same suspension email and the same trigger: failed device registration tokens. Someone, well, more likely a botnet, started trying to register new devices on Dashlane accounts and feeding the second factor token with guesses. Now, when too many wrong tokens hit in a row, Dashlane systems kicked in and then froze the account. Affected users then got an email saying that their account had been temporarily suspended for security reasons and were provided instructions to contact support to get back in. Okay, so what? Big deal, Andy. I'll tell you why. This is a big deal, folks, okay? A password manager can literally be the single highest value target on a machine. I mean, think about it, okay? You pop one vault and bam, you have access to potentially hundreds of credentials, if not more. And this is the really scary part, folks. Dashlane confirmed that in a limited number of cases, attackers did manage to trigger encrypted vault downloads. Yeah, the vaults themselves are encrypted with the user's master password, so the data isn't immediately readable. But here's the thing, once a copy is sitting on an attacker's server, they can grind on it offline for as long as they want. Yeah, so basically it boils down to this, folks. Weak master password, weak vault. Now, Dashlane hasn't published any numbers officially yet, and they're framing the suspensions as a protective measure, which is accurate, but it also confirms the attack volume was high enough to need a circuit breaker type of defense tactic. So what's next? Okay, expect Dashlane to push tighter rate limits on device enrollment and probably force a wave of master password resets for anyone whose vault was pulled. Other password managers should be watching closely as well because this technique works against any Cloud Sync Vault product. So your takeaway here is that if you use Dashlane or any password manager for that matter, check your master password length. The general industry recommendation here is a 16-character minimum, random, and not reused anywhere. I got to reiterate that. Don't use it anywhere else than this master password. Literally, folks, that's the only thing standing between a stolen vault and a very, very bad week. All right, folks, well, that sums it up for today. This is Andy Thompson signing off.